and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be doing a more casual book talk video where I talk about some recent Jessa Kane novellas that I have not been loving. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This was not the video that I was planning on filming today, but I was talking to some of my friends and I was kind of like noticing a theme with some of the recent Jessa Kane novellas that I've been reading. And if you guys have watched my channel for any length of time, you will know that I was, past tense, Jessa Kane stan. Like, I have done so many videos on her. I did my top 5 favorite Jessa Kane novellas. I've featured her books in some of my novella recommendation videos, some of my trope week videos. Like, I talk about her novellas a lot. I predominantly read historic romances on my channel, but I do enjoy a steamy novella. It helps me get out of like reading slumps, and I just really enjoy like reading novellas on my Kindle, and Jessa Kane has been like my go-to author for many years. But I have always said that I like her more recent novellas. I don't like her older novellas because they're a little bit too intense for me. But now I am noticing that even some of her newer releases are a little too intense for me. But yeah, I'm just gonna chit chat about some recent reads, what I've not really been loving when it comes to her more recent novellas. And if you're a Jessa Kane fan like me, maybe you feel the same way. So let's just chat. I was talking to my friends Rachel and Jessica, who are Jessa Kane fans, and they read a lot of her novellas, and I was like, what is going on? Like, her heroes are deranged. Also, side note, this is a judgment-free zone. I will never yuck someone's yum. I will never judge your reading tastes. Will never say you shouldn't read a book. That's just not my vibe. However, my own personal opinion is that Jessa Kane's heroes are, certifiably insane, a little crazy, insane in the membrane, deranged, a little out of control, doing some questionable, slightly illegal, definitely immoral things in her books. If you have never read a Jessa Kane novella, she is known for her very steamy novellas. They're usually 80 to 100 pages, and all of her novellas are usually very taboo, very forbidden. A lot of them have age gaps, and the majority of them have zaddy kinks. So if you're not into that, then you're just not going to enjoy pretty much any Jessa Kane novella. But for me, most of them were great, and I have many that I did like, which I will leave the videos where I talked about the ones that I do like down below, but this video is going to be the ones that I didn't like and don't recommend and all that jazz. Please don't come for me. If you like these novellas, that's amazing. I'm so glad you enjoyed them. Like, talk about some recent reads that I have read, okay? We're just jumping in. So this is gonna have spoiler alerts because I need to explain why I detested or did not like these books. So here we go. So the first one is a novella that I read where I started to notice a pattern. It is called Temp. It's a short novella that is an office romance. So our heroine's dad owns a large corporate business that does some slightly illegal things, and she is kind of sent to work for the competitor's office and spy on them to like bring their office down. Well, our hero is the CEO of that other corporation and knows that our heroine is being sent as a spy and decides to kind of like use her for revenge against her father. So it's like an office romance enemies to lovers situation. Now, the things our hero does in this book, friends, the things he does. First of all, he decides to seduce the heroine, and his intention is to like break her heart and like use her emotions to get back to her father, like all that jazz. And he decides to record them having intimate moments with each other without her consent and send them to her father. Here's where I'm talking about like the slightly illegal and immoral things, right? So of course our hero like madly deeply falls in love with our heroine, but of course our heroine is like slightly disgusted and appalled that he recorded her during those intimate moments and decides to break up with him. Completely justifiable. So our hero decides that he cannot live without our heroine and threatens to jump off a cliff. Okay. Yeah, that's the premise of the story. I mean, it's not really the premise of the story. I kind of just spoiled it all for you. But I mean, that's a little crazy. Heroine feels like if she's not with our hero, he is going to harm himself. Slightly abusive relationship there, but they mend things and they end up together. Okay, I gave this novella 1 star, did not enjoy it, and kind of moved on. All right, let's go on to the next novella. It gets worse. The next novella is called Tutoring the Delinquent. Actually, I think I read this one first. I can't remember. This one takes place in college. Our heroine is very shy, very quiet, and she is set to tutor our hero, who is this notorious bad boy. I think he's even like some sports player in this college. I can't remember. But he's a notorious bad boy, and she is kind of sent by the administration to tutor him, to bring his grades up, but also kind of like calm him down because he is getting into a lot of reckless activity, and they form a romance. This one does have a zaddy kink, if I'm not mistaken, but what I don't like about this novella is, again, toxic behavior from our hero. Our heroine decides to leave our hero for a justifiable reason, and he decides that he cannot live without our heroine and decides to walk into the ocean, the middle of the ocean, at night and drown himself because he cannot imagine a world without our heroine. And our heroine is horrified by this behavior and decides to go into the ocean to save him and almost gets herself killed in the process. And then somehow in this book they make amends and they end up together, completely forgetting the fact that he literally did so many toxic things. Deranged, who walks into the middle of the ocean to drown themselves, not only putting yourself but the person you love also in danger. Insane. The behavior is insane, but the pattern, the behavior does not end up there. There are 2 more novellas that I read that very similarly follow this, and they just get like more and more concerning. Let's talk about them. Okay, the next one is Truck Driver by Miss Jessa Kane. Our heroine works at a truck stop that's like also a restaurant, so a lot of truck drivers stop there to eat. And wait for this, guys, because this one's a doozy. Our hero works for some pretty bad guys. I think they're his cousins or something. He gets involved in some illegal activity, to be short. And he gets sent and paid to human traffic our heroine. I'm gonna let that sink in. Did it sink in? Okay, so he basically gets paid to do this, but he's like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. She's so innocent. She's so beautiful. I need her for myself. So he decides to like seduce her and convince her to be with him. A lot of illegal activity happens. They're running away from all these bad guys. He has to protect her, and in the process, there's like murder, you know, casual things just happening. Murder, abduction, fake names, illegal activity, just like all of this craziness. But somehow it ends again. Oh, I forgot to mention, he gets her pregnant. A good old surprise pregnancy trope. My favorite. I'm kidding. It's like my least favorite thing ever. So all of that activity, very illegal activity, is ignored, and they end up together. Has a zaddy kink. Our hero is very aggressive to any guy that talks to our heroine, and she finds his possessiveness and violence, because remember, he like murdered people. She finds that attractive. To each their own. To each their own. I gave this one 1 star. Negative? Should I give it a negative star? That's not possible on Goodreads, so I gave it 1 star, but if I could give it lower, I would. Oh, it does not stop there, my friends. Last novella that I read that is in this pattern of absurdity. Absurdity? Is that a word? It's gonna be a word for now. Is Do Me a Favor, okay? This is the worst of them all. So our heroine is a ballet dancer, and her coach feels like she is distracted by her... I don't even know how to say this without sounding horrible. He feels like she's distracted by like her... It just sounds bad when I say it, but it's because this novella was bad. He thinks that she is distracted and cannot focus on dancing because of the opposite sex, and she's like too sexual. I don't know. It's really bad. Like she's so young, and he decides to make her a better dancer that he is going to go drop her off, trap her, force her to be in a room with his brother, who is deranged. I'm pretty sure he's a criminal. I don't know. And he basically convinces his brother to assault her so that she can like focus better on dancing. The logic does not make sense. So our hero, I guess, is the brother, and he has had a bad experience with women. Honestly, poor you, okay? You poor baby. But he feels like all women are cheats and liars and horrible people. So he assaults our heroine and basically says that she wants it, and all women are liars, and just really like aggressive, illegal, abusive, toxic behavior. He assaults our heroine. Like, it was so intense for me that I actually did not finish this novella. So if it gets better, I don't know, and I don't know how, because like, how can you redeem a hero like that? Miss Kane, what are you doing? So yeah, it was so intense for me. Like, I think I got maybe 20% into the novella, and I was like, I cannot read this. I cannot read this. It was too much. So, I DNF'd it, and I think me and Jessa Kane are gonna have a break. I think we're broken up. I just don't think I can read her novellas anymore, because that's like the 4th, maybe even the 5th if I'm forgetting some novellas that are so intense, and the heroes are so toxic, and a lot of immoral, illegal behavior that I just cannot justify and like rightfully recommend to you guys, because like, so many trigger warnings, just trigger warning upon trigger warning upon trigger warning. So what is the result of this? I don't know. I think I'm just kind of like venting and ranting about some really horrible books that I've read recently. And like, if you watch my videos, I don't talk about books that I typically don't like, because I like to be positive. I like to chat about books that are good. And if you think I'm being dramatic in this video, it's because I'm devastated. I'm so devastated that this is the trend of her newer novellas, because I have found so many novellas by her I like, but now I just don't feel comfortable reading or supporting like any of her novellas in the future. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. If you have any novella recommendations for me, give them to me, because I need some new authors to read. If you are also saddened, disturbed, deeply disturbed by these novellas like myself, and you were a fan, and you just wish for good novellas to read on Kindle Unlimited, let me introduce you to Casey Mint. And the crowd goes wild. I don't know, I feel really weird in this video, and I feel like I'm just a lot of hand motions, a lot of weird activity. Anyways, if you guys are looking for another novella author to check out that has more taboo age gap romances without the zaddy kinks and just toxic heroes, toxic masculinity, then I would recommend Casey Mint. She has a plethora of novellas on Kindle Unlimited that I will highly recommend. I will put some here on the screen. If you guys didn't mind this video, I hope you guys don't get mad at me. I hope you guys don't get mad at me. But I feel like you guys can justifiably understand my rant and why I will no longer be supporting her novellas. So this video was already too long. I already know that, and I hope you guys don't get mad at me. I feel so bad for recommending her novellas in the past. Like, I really hope people don't think like I recommend these new ones. That was my fear, and that was why I did this video. All right, I love you guys. If anyone is still here watching this, thank you. Also, is Jessa Kane well? Anyways, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!